What You Gotta Do is on now. Hello and welcome to What You Gotta Do podcast with your hosts Cody and KT, where we discuss relatable topics and inspire one another to live a simple, abundant life. Yo ho, Cody Hardy. How are you?
It's funny that you say those words, yo ho.
I'm feeling piratey.
Is that why you're wearing the eye patch?
I need my eye patch. Let's go get it.
Well, how are you this week, KT?
I'm really good. Do you know that Brianna told me the reason pirates wore eye patches was because they had to keep one eye dark and one eye light so that when they would go down in the hull underneath the ship, their eyes didn't have to adjust. They would just shut that. They would just move the patch over to the bright eye and use the dark eye.
No way.
I'm telling you, she said she researched it. I thought it was just they had their eye, bladed out.
I know. I was like, a lot of these pirates have lost eyes. Like, what? That's an interesting.
That's what she said.
Well,
and then so she tells us that story when she's here. And then a couple of days later, she calls me and she's like, Mom, the other day I was at work and I had to go down to the basement to get something and I couldn't see. And I thought if I had my eye patch on, I would see.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good week.
I am. My kids wrapped up school Friday, which.
Hooray!
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I had all these plans to do all these activities this weekend, and I literally just lounged on the couch for quite a bit of the time. It was so
You
nice.
deserve it.
And my kids did too. We are done. It's a good time to start the summer. Anyway, anything besides talking to Brianna? Anything happened this week for you?
No, nothing.
Okay. Well,
I have a boring life.
No, you don't. You have a lot going on.
No, I do.
It's fine. Going on.
No, it's a good. What I'm really, really excited about is this episode. I've been wanting to do this episode forever. I'm so excited.
Since we decided to do the podcast, this was like one of your absolutes has to be on the show. And I am super excited to introduce the topic of Angels Among Us. And how it came to be was KT was in a time of need in a different city. And these two women stepped in and stepped up quite a bit and went above and beyond their call of duty. And I always call it the bat signal. My cousin said that to me when she came to my rescue, needing help moving. She's like, you threw up the bat signal. And I answered. And so from then on, I've just realized, there are people that answer that bat signal. And so I'm really excited to introduce Sheila and Kari, two friends that have stepped in at your time of need.
I found a poem that really made me think about what we're talking about. It says, a helpful stranger, a reliable friend, you met an angel when you needed one then. Here around us on earth are angels every day to remind us of God's love with angelic acts and ways. Remember that angel in your thoughts, words, and deeds. Give the love of your angel to others in need.
Oh.
I don't know if I already told you the story, Cody, but I want to tell you a little bit about this story and about how our guests fit into this story. So, when Liam was in dive school in Panama City, Florida, he got really sick.
Yes.
And it progressed over like a week to 10 days from, I'm not really feeling well, to, I went to the doctor, to, Mom, they're going to admit me on the base hospital.
I remember.
To, Mom, they can't figure out what's going on. They're taking me to the civilian hospital. To the last FaceTime with him where he could barely keep his eyes open. And he said, Mom, get here now. Scared the hell out of me. They didn't know what was wrong with him. It was horrifying. I literally booked a flight. I got on the plane without any plan at all. Just, I'm going to Panama City, Florida. I got to help my son. I remember when I checked in at the airport in Albuquerque, I had to change flights. And when I checked in Albuquerque, I went to the front desk to ask the lady if she could move my seat up because my connecting flight, I didn't want to miss it. And when I got up to her, I was fine. But as soon as I started talking to her, I just started bawling. And she pulled me aside and she's like, what's going on? I said, my son's really sick. I got to get, a better seat. So she did. She put me towards the front. When we got to Atlanta, they couldn't connect the door to the gate, that thing that slides out.
Oh.
So we're all standing there waiting, and I'm looking at my watch going, I'm going to miss this
Oh,
flight. So I'm
no.
freaked out. I run to the gate, I get in, I get on the plane, I land in Panama City. Never been there in my life. So I look around and it said Uber cars this way, and I went out there. No one was out there. So I get my phone to find the hospital. Well, I believe it was Sacred Heart Hospital. So I look up Sacred Heart Hospital. Well, you know how, like for us in Albuquerque, Presbyterian, if you type in Presbyterian
It's
into your
Mercy
maps,
here.
you're going to get
Yeah.
25 entries,
Yeah.
urgent care. And so I was looking at it going, I don't know where this hospital is. And I knew I couldn't tell Liam because by this time Liam was basically unconscious,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what to do. So here come these two women about my age with all these balloons, and they're literally laughing and skipping and hugging each other and walking out to their car. And I thought, I'm just going to ask them. And I said, excuse me, are you from here? And they're like, they kind of paused. They're like, well, not really, but why? And I said, I need to know where Sacred Heart Hospital is. Do you know on my phone? Can you tell me which one of these is the hospital, not urgent care? Not. And I think it was Kari who grabbed my phone, and she looked it up, and she said, it's this one right here. And I said, okay, thank you. They turned to walk away, and then they turned around and said, why? Why do you need the hospital? And then is my story. So if Cody, you want to
Oh my gosh.
go from there and introduce our sweet guest?
Yes, so Sheila and Kari are the ladies skipping down the airport parking with balloons, and she answered the call. From my side of the story, and it's such a small role. You were already a mess with him in dive school, and then him getting sick on this, and how quickly it progressed was so insane. And I mean, I couldn't go along with you. I had my own stuff going on, but I'm so grateful that these ladies were there. And so I would like to have Kari and Sheila. First of all, welcome to What You Got to Do podcast.
Yeah, welcome. I'm so thankful you guys could be on our show. This is really important for me.
Well, I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking why. Why do you need the hospital?
When Cody and I first decided to do this podcast, one of the first episodes we talked about doing is we got to do my angels.
Yes.
We got to do my angels.
Yes.
We're
so
angels.
This is it. We've been
Sheila.
waiting for this.
The angels. So I know there's a lot more to that story, and I would love to hear that. So, but Sheila and Kari, I don't know which one of you want to go first, but from your angle, what were you seeing? How did you feel at that moment about this crazy lady asking about a hospital?
Oh boy.
Well, I think moms know moms, and you just have that look, and it's a safety net. I think that we all have. We know when there's something that we need to reach out and help another mom with. And Sheila and I are both moms, and not only did this all happen to Catherine, but it was right after the hurricane.
It was Hurricane Michael.
So everything was a mess. The roads were shut down.
That's right.
Ubers weren't anywhere, taxis. And that airport's a long ways away from
I think it was like
anything.
40 minutes.
It's like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So Sheila came down to see me because I was getting ready to sell our house in Tallahassee. And I picked her up at the airport, and she was a little late, which is interesting because her flight was a little late. Had it been on time,
boy, did I luck out.
Everything works out. So, Sheila, do you want to go ahead?
So we came back and asked her if she had a problem. She wanted to know where the hospital was in Panama City, and we so how you could get there, and she said what, and Carrie said, well, we don't have any plans. We'll just take you. And of course she brought balloons to greet me, at the airport. She's crazy anyway, she had a big bouquet of balloons. So we got the balloons and opened the car, up the car, and she got in, Catherine got in, and we were driving down the road, and we could hear her talking to Liam, her son that's in the hospital. She told us, about her son being very ill, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. and of course this hurricane had just hit, and it was tore up. I mean, it was pretty tore up in that area,
Yeah.
and so we could hear her talking to Liam in the back
Oh,
seat.
this is the funniest part.
Oh, Liam was freaked. Mom, Mom.
So we're driving along, and we hear Liam call his mom, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm okay."
My gosh, I can't believe she's getting in the car with some women that she doesn't even know.
Isn't it? But isn't that so crazy that we live in a society that the first thing is to be fearful?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
rather than to
Yeah.
to be good and be kind and help someone in need, it's to be afraid.
Oh, especially, yeah.
Listen, as soon as Kari opened her back hatch to her SUV and I saw her dog stroller in there, I thought I was okay. I thought, listen, if this lady strolls around her dog,
Serial
I think I'm all
killers,
right.
serial killers do not stroll their dogs.
So we're driving down, and we thought we better give her a background on who we are. And so we all found out we used to be Mormons.
I forgot that.
That's
So we're not
crazy.
practicing Mormons.
Stop it.
So then
You failed to tell me that detail.
So I said,
I forgot. I forgot.
Yeah, we were all, yeah. I thought, I better tell her. Sheila's flight was late, so I had a beer at the airport.
I don't think she told me that either.
Because at this point, I'm on vacation with Sheila, even though she's
my kind
not
of girl.
here.
I'm on vacation.
So Catherine says, "Well, are you drunk?" And I go, "No, it's just one beer, and it's about an hour and a half ago." So I thought, oh
What
boy,
a
wonder what
funny
she thinks of us.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing. The commonality of the religion or our upbringing or what we believed in or past or present or current or whatever is very interesting because I think that, do you feel like that has some sort of pull, or were you taught something that made you call to action? I know you said you have like a mother instinct, a mother knows a mother in need. But mother knows. But do you think that there's just a different? You were taught to serve.
I think Sheila can answer to that. She's had.
I don't know how people do it without God in their life. I don't know.
You know what I think a lot of it is that we have an underlying foundation of God's love and what He does for us every day.
You have to have that really to help you with life in so many ways. You have to build your community up with that. But
can I tell you a little bit more about this story?
Yes.
So the hospital's like 40 minutes away, and like Kari said, it was Hurricane Michael had just hit. I mean, huge pine trees were snapped like toothpicks. I mean, it was I'd never seen anything like that. I'm from Albuquerque. We don't have hurricanes. So the hospital, literally, some of the areas are on their side, like cockeyed. There's like yellow and red do not enter tape. Nobody was at the hospital, and Kari is literally driving around the hospital, stopping. Sheila jumps out of the car, will run up to the doors, pull on them. They're not working. She'd run back, hop back in the car. Kari would drive a little farther. We'd find more doors. And here's Kari and Sheila like freaking out, trying to get me in.
They knew what they were doing, though. They were like,
Liam had our number, though. We had to straighten this out.
And, yeah, I think it was the last door Sheila checked. We got in.
Yeah, it
so
was
they
the
let
last
me
door.
go in while they went and parked. After Kari gives Sheila these beautiful balloons, she takes them from Sheila and says, "These are going to Liam." And she comes up to Liam's room.
I forgot
and
about
here these
that.
ladies come in with balloons, and Liam's lying on his bed.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And the hospital was running on a generator, and the nurse, Liam's nurse, said most of the nurses had left because they couldn't treat anybody, so they had to have a job, so they left. He was in such a bad situation.
So
nobody there. The lights were real dim.
It was like one of those movies about the apocalypse. That's how I felt. It was awful.
It was.
That's what I'm picturing in my head.
And the hospital felt real.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The hospital felt like it was, I don't know if you've ever watched Walking Dead, but you know how I'm not into that show, but
it was.
Yeah, it's like really sketchy.
Oh, that's so sad.
And he was so sick and they didn't know why.
They never found out why. They never did.
They
He went
didn't?
to every specialist. He had his kidneys tested, his heart tested, his blood tested, his bone marrow tested. Like, they scanned his brain.
But
They
didn't they
never
suspect it
found out.
was fish because he ate fish after like the hurricane or something like that? Isn't that?
That was the lady at the bar. That
Oh,
nice lady at the bar that I met. She goes, "Well, after hurricane, you're not supposed to get in the water. They had those divers in the water. They're not supposed to be in there." But, well, how did the other guys not get it? I mean, it was probably just one
yeah.
teeny tiny little thing, but he's fine. He doesn't have any after effects. He lost all his hair. Well, not all his hair. His hair it grew back, but his receding hairline went like to here. It grew back. He lost all his eyebrows.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
awful. And just for our listeners, this was way pre-COVID. This is what, 2 years before COVID? So,
Oh,
yeah.
2 years before.
wow. So, have you guys been on the receiving end of somebody answering your, I call it the bat signal, when you put you emit like the bat signal that you need some help. Like, have you been on the receiving side of that, Sheila? Especially you're such a outgoing person helping others. Do you let other people serve you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No,
Well, we're
she
all
does not.
surrounded by angels, and they're not always the wing type. And, you know, what would we do without our angels? I've had lots of angels in my life, and I like it. I lost my husband 12 years ago. And then 8 years ago, going on 9, my stepdaughter, she's my stepdaughter, but she's my daughter. We don't do steps around here, but it was my husband's daughter. And she came down with acute myeloid leukemia. And I took a leave from my business and I spent my time with her in Kansas City, which she doesn't live there, but we had to be within 15 minutes of the hospital. And so we stayed in Hope Lodge, which is a place where people that's getting cancer treatments stay. I never left her. Her husband was a truck driver, and he came down on the weekend on Saturday, and then I'd go back and work at my business. I'd take my book work home Saturday night and prepare everything for the week for the store, go to church on Sunday, and go back to Kansas City on Sunday afternoon. And I did that for 15 months.
Wow. That's incredible.
They sent her home on a Saturday in
Holy
October.
cow.
On Thursday they said she wouldn't make it through the day, and her family, of course, was there, and in-laws and cousins, and then we heard a lot of ambulances, and it's a small town, 3,000 population, and we heard a lot of ambulances and sirens and things, and my granddaughter said, "Oh, was a bad accident," and that it was my son, Jordan, Ron and my youngest son, was in a fatal accident, and he died
Oh.
2 hours before Gina died. My daughter died. It was a pretty traumatic day. Of course, we knew that Gina was going to pass, and we did everything. And I prayed and prayed so hard for her, and she'd cry and want to see her
Oh.
daughters grow up. And I said, "We're going to beat it." I just wanted her to beat it so bad, but that we tried everything. They did everything, and then my son had 3 children. It was very, very hard. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have done it without the Lord in my life. And the Lord's been with me all my life. And I lost my mom on my 21st birthday. I was a surgical nurse in Kansas City. I mean, I've had some really, really trials in my life. But, I know that I couldn't have done it without him. And I have people come in my store, and if they have a problem, I'll pray with them. I'll just say, "Do you mind if I pray for you?" And I will do it in my store.
That's how she drums up
She's
business.
a good woman, man.
Yeah, she is a good woman.
Both are. That's
So I have a theory on that. Because I lost a brother. His wife died 4 years before he passed away. He was heavy, so he was in the danger of that anyway. And at his funeral, there were thousands there, wasn't there, Sheila?
wow.
Wow.
Thousands of people. And people would get up, and he had like 3 funerals because he worked at a college, a small college, a church college. And he was a good, good man, but he struggled all the time. And I think he would try to do good, but there was always this urge of frustration he had because people would stand up and say, Brad Carr, he was he was such an awesome man, but
They said a
but he got every time, and I feel like he was taken from us because I think, and I really believe this, I think God said, you've lost your wife, your kids are safe now. The last one graduated high school, and I think God said, I'm going to cry over this, you've tried enough. You've done your very best.
Time to rest.
And I think he was taken because he really did try to live a good life, but it was all he could do. That was it. And it was enough for God. And so I think he went on.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel it.
I think, yeah, you can't deny that.
So when your time is up, it's because I think you've done your very best.
But is that the driving force about why you do good? Why you choose to serve others? Why you answer the call? Because your time might be up soon? No.
Is it yours?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You point to your heart.
Yeah.
Your heart. She pointed to her heart. Did you see that, Sheila?
Yeah.
It's because of your heart. Yeah. It has nothing to do with death. I was just trying to spur conversation.
No.
I just thought. Trying to be controversial.
People do for us too. That it's just remarkable what they do. They're always there for us in different ways. Just like a friendly word when you're kind of down, or they were taking a walk and they stopped in. Just, it's like you get around the same type of people. It's, now that we're older, when we're younger, I don't think you had the sense that we do as we're older, and you get around wrong people, and some people don't make it out of that. But I think as we get older, we have these people that are, like you guys were saying, like they are our angels.
In just small little ways. Small little ways.
Yeah. Yeah, just stop by to say hi.
Even just a text, like I've been thinking about you, I'm checking in. Just something simple.
Yeah.
If just being a little more thoughtful about stuff too. If you find, KT's so good about it. If she finds like a meme or a quote that she knows I'll enjoy, she'll send that to me. And I appreciate that.
I have one right now.
You
Morgan
do?
Freeman.
Okay.
Morgan Freeman. He said, "How do we change the world? One random act of kindness at a time." I mean, where would I be without these women coming to my rescue? People feel like angels are floating around in the air with wings and, they'll come and help you. I believe we're all the angels. It's up to us to go and help those people and answer their prayers, help them along.
Kind of going back to what Kari said for just a minute when you said that, when you're a little older, and I think that kind of goes back to that vibration we were talking about. You hang around with people who are at the same, who reflect and mirror who you are or who you want to be or who you're trying to be, and bring that out in you. And so when you're around that energy, it feeds off each other. And I think that's why you're all friends. That's why we all connect as women together, because we have that same. We want to lift everybody up, not just ourselves, but let's lift the women up. Let's be positive. Let's lift our children up. Let's lift our men up. Let's just be a more positive force out there and just make a small choice to help others. That's it.
Cody, that sounds like a really great call to action.
Okay, that's my call to action. What you got to do this week is to find more opportunities to serve in small ways. Well, I just want to thank you for answering the call to KT when on the other side of it, we couldn't do anything. So thank you for being us.
So me and Cody had talked about when our podcast gets big, we're going to do like a girls' vacation weekend. And you were the first two I thought of. I'm like, my angels, we'll invite our angels.
We were like, we're going to rent a house and we're going to rent Airbnb on the beach in Pensacola, have all of our guests come out, all the women we've interviewed, and just have a girls' weekend and just thank them. It'd be so fun. And
Oh my
she's like, "Do you think
gosh.
they'd come?" I'm like, "It's worth asking, but yes, you're coming.
Oh,
You're
we're
absolutely
definitely in, aren't
coming."
we, Sheila?
Yeah, you got to come.
We need some sponsors. We need some corporate
Absolutely.
sponsors to
Yeah.
step up.
Yeah, we'll.
I'll get Jim's company. They'd love to get rid of me, so Jim would work more.
And here's one more thing. When we're in the hospital room with Liam, and Liam's just looking at these crazy ladies, and I'm like, "Thank you guys so much. You saved me. I appreciate you." Carrie opens her wallet and starts pulling all this cash out. Do you need money? Do you need a hotel? I could.
Yeah,
Carrie,
I'm loaded like that.
I have your number now.
Yeah.
When I need bail, I'm calling Carrie.
I'll go get my wallet.
I appreciate you, ladies, and I owe you more than you'll ever know. You changed my life. You really did. You made me want to be a better person. So thank
She
you very
talks
much.
about you a lot.
And we love KT.
Thank you.
I do.
Like this is a very sweet moment. I am like, this is great.
So I want to finish this up with a warm, fuzzy, cold, prickly. And Sheila and Carrie were nice enough to volunteer to do this. Okay, I don't know if they volunteered, but we told them they had to.
We did. We assigned it.
So I just want to go over cold, prickly is kind of a crappy thing that either happened to you or that you're thinking about that you want to share and maybe work out. And warm, fuzzy, conversely, is just a wonderful thing that happened to you that you just want to share. Carrie, you have the cold, prickly.
Carrie has the cold.
I got the bad. But it's not really bad because, I don't like to. Oh, Sheila and I worked through so many cold pricklies. It's just terrible. I don't want to go down that route, but the only cold prickly I have are army worms in my yard.
Gosh.
They eat your yard.
Dude, I dealt with those last summer when I first moved to Oklahoma.
Did you
I was
really?
like, it was like an infestation and it was on the
gosh.
news and I was like, I just moved here. What?
I know. They just eat your yard in
Destroy
one
it.
day.
Is that like a
Yes.
grub?
It's like a
or
grub
what is an
on
armyworm?
steroids.
Yeah.
Because the grubs can do it like over the course of the summer, but these just and they one day can eat your whole yard. It's insane.
Carrie, did you get rid of your
Army
Army
worms.
worms?
Yes, this morning. That was half the reason I couldn't get the link to set up because I was killing my worms.
That's
I
a
got
cold
obsessed with that. Like,
Yeah.
it was a little bit obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
You can hear them chew.
Oh,
I swear. I don't know if that's true, but I think it is. They're just as happy as can be out
fantastic. Oh my gosh. Sheila, do you have a warm fuzzy?
Oh, my warm fuzzy is it rained and rained and rained Saturday at the track meet. So they postponed it for 3 hours. My grandson threw the javelin. First of all, he and his sister both were the only two that ended up qualifying for. Well, there were
whole
three that
school
qualified for state, but they actually made it through the second day. And my grandson was to throw the javelin and run the 1,600 meter, and my granddaughter was to run the 3,200 meter. There was only one guy that was a senior that threw it further than him, and my grandson placed in second. He placed second at state from a little town, and he has 9 kids in his class.
Wow, congratulations.
Two of them made it to state, and he got second in javelin. He learned to throw the javelin from YouTube. I'm just so thrilled that they made it to state coming from a small school. I was so proud of him, and I'll tell you, this is my grandson from my son that I lost. And you can't understand how special he is. Of course, you haven't seen either one of these, but he is the spitting image of my son.
Wow.
And he's built like him. He has the personality that my son did, even though my son and I butt heads a lot of times. But he's most caring. And when he gives me a hug, he hugs his
Beat
Grammy.
him.
He hugs
him.
You are not going to believe this story. That boy was from another town, and it was districts, and it was grass was slick, and so he had to throw away his first 2 throws because he slipped. And so this boy from Princeton, the town where they had the districts, took off his shoes, track shoes, or the spike shoes, and gave them to Brody
Yeah.
to use. And Brody won. He won the
That's so
meet in javelin throwing
sweet.
over at Princeton. So we get down to Jefferson City, which is the capital of
Yeah.
Missouri, and that's where the state events are. That boy from Princeton was there that loaned him his shoes. He picked up his javelin carrier and loaded it in his dad's car. And when they get down there, he didn't have the javelin in it. No javelin to throw. So guess who
Oh,
loaned
Oh.
see,
him
that's
the
like an
javelin?
angel. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. It was such a neat gesture on both their parts.
Oh,
I
Sheila.
just so love watching these kids, and they're such natural born athletes that, and I'm real
Mm-hmm.
sports minded. I've been in
That's
sports all my
awesome.
pretty well, not now, but I did a lot of sports when I was in school and in college, and
Well, that's a warm fuzzy if I
I
No
ever
I
heard one.
enjoy.
kidding. I'm so happy to know the two of you, honestly.
Yeah, and please, tell Liam thank you so much for his service. It's not a good time right now. And I pray for him every night. My husband works in that industry, and the reason why he can do that kind of job is because he's trying to save our kids. And Liam, when Jim was helping me, he goes, "No, you got to be." I said, "Jim, we're not going to get this set up. It's just too late." And he goes, "No, you need to do this for his mom."
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's why we have to be better.
Yeah. Band together, help each other. This is it.
All right, ladies, we will let you go. Do you have anything else to add, KT?
Nope. Love you guys. We'll be in touch with you, and you're our inspiration. So thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you, Catherine. Thank you for letting us meet you.
Take care. Bye, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Well, Cody, are you ready to sign off? This has been a great episode.
I have needed this in my life. I've needed to be reminded to do more, a little bit more, be a little bit kinder, find a little bit more opportunity to serve where I can. So I'm really excited to take action, claim freedom, continue to live a simple, abundant life. How about you, KT?
I'm ready to look for bat signals.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to What You Gotta Do. The music for this podcast is written, produced, and performed by Joe Steitler. Production manager and host for What You Gotta Do podcast is Cody Hardy. Creative director is Matt Johnson. I'm KT Johnson, your co-host and editor. This has been a hell of a production.
What you gotta do is listen.